My name is Gina Garcia, and we travel, the People for Medical Cannabis travels around the state giving voices to the people who want to have a voice. So we have organized this meeting here to meet Michael Foster, who's from from here in Washington 7th District, and he's running against Joel Kretz. And the meeting is scheduled to be an hour long, but we will let Mike Foster talk first, and then we'll have a question and answer period.
Hi, my name is Mike Foster. I'd like to thank you for your time today. I am very concerned with the losses of our rights and freedoms. They're continually under assault from the two-party system, which is the Republicans and the Democrats. Our First Amendment rights to free speech, to religion, and to petition government, which is basically gone, are under assault. Our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms is under assault. And our rights to our person, our property, and our privacy are also under assault. The biggest driver of this is the rules which the government forces upon us through their regulations. These regulations, or rules, dictate how we live our lives and how we run our businesses. And we need to reduce and get rid of some completely, some regulations and some regulatory departments completely. We also need to fix healthcare and lower costs while still being compassionate towards those that do not have the monetary funds for severe ailments. We also need to fix the educational system, which I call the system of insanity. Since 1972, we have been increasing funding and increasing funding and increasing funding, and we've gotten a flat result the whole time. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results while expecting something different. So I think we need to move to the voucher system or educational investment trusts and give parents the opportunities to send their kids to whatever schools they want. As I think poor kids should get the same schooling as rich kids. Thank you again for your time.
Okay, we're going to go to question and answer period. So we have composed some questions for you, which you probably have already seen go around the internet. So the first question we have, and we are part of a medical cannabis community, so most of our questions are with that, but we have others as well. So
Turn your camera on so people understand.
from now, for the first question, where do you stand on the right for all patients and adults to grow their own cannabis for personal use without tax, license, or registry?
Well, it's legal, so you should have the legal right to grow plants. I don't think there should be a limit to this for personal use. If it's personal use, it's not for sale, it's for your personal use or your family's use. So I don't see why it should be regulated, taxed, or monitored in any way whatsoever.
Thank you.
What about sharing?
What?
And the reason I ask is because the medical community is based on sharing with other people and trying out different things to help you.
I believe in if someone is willing to share with another and the other is accepting that help, then that is fair and fine. This goes back to a lot of regulations. If there is a buyer and a seller, or someone is giving and accepting, where's the crime?
Okay.
Because now it's a felony.
Yep.
Right. Now it is a Class C felony, actually, to share even a joint.
And two felonies if you invite someone over.
Yeah.
Sure.
Number
They get you in
two,
the house and they get you for sure. It's insane.
do you believe that patients should be able to designate who their grower is if they're unable to grow their own? And please explain.
You're talking about their grower that they've chosen?
Right, because they
Oh.
can't grow. Like
Oh.
they're too ill to grow. So
Well, I believe they should be able to choose whoever they want to grow the marijuana for them. If they are authorized to have the marijuana, which I don't think there should be an authorization process anyway, since it is a legal substance, why should the government care where they're getting the marijuana from? It's another intrusion into our privacy.
Exactly. And what is your position on the fact that sharing cannabis, we just went over this actually, between adults is still illegal under state law when nothing restricts sharing of alcohol or tobacco?
It's ridiculous because it's two consenting adults sharing a legal substance by law. So there should be, this is the same with firearms, where it's a felony if you give a friend a gun when you're out hunting. It's another ridiculous law used for control over people, and again violates your privacy and inherently your property, your rights to your property and what you do with it.
Should patients be forced to join a registry in order to be considered legal under state law?
No, again, it's a legal product, so why should you? It's the same with firearms. Neither marijuana nor firearms are inherently harmful. It is only individuals that would use it either in a harmful way. Although I don't know how marijuana could be used for a harmful way. I've never heard of a marijuana OD, so you could go to sleep, I guess. But
Right. Fall off a bridge or something. Washington State has declared cannabis has medical value with RCW 69.51A. The state also sells it over the counter to any adult with an ID 21 and over. At the same time, it is a Schedule I drug at both the state and federal level. Do you favor rescheduling or descheduling cannabis under state law, and why?
Descheduling. There's no harm in cannabis, marijuana, weed, whatever you want to call it. It is a legal substance in Washington. There's no reason it should be any type of scheduled drug if it is legal. That only gives authorization for the federal government to come in and take away our state-given rights. And as a state, we do have the right, under constitutional law, to make our own laws. The federal government has no right to come in and tell us we cannot have these laws in place. That is, we've done it as a state. Now each county and each city and municipality has the right to choose what they want to do in this instant. The federal government should not use that Schedule I law or regulation to come in and shut down our businesses.
Okay, thank you. And will you commit to legislation releasing all Washington state prisoners being held for only cannabis crimes and expunge all past criminals and criminal records, retroactive or ameliorative relief?
Yes, as long as there's no violent element to it, I would release all of them.
Will you commit to ending all federal grants to the state of Washington that contain scheduled drug enforcement clauses while cannabis is still considered a controlled substance under the Controlled Substance Act?
I'm sorry, can you reread that?
Will you commit to ending all federal grants to the state of Washington that contain scheduled drug enforcement clauses while cannabis is still considered a controlled substance under the Controlled Substance Act?
Yes. I believe in decriminalization of all drugs and keeping marijuana illegal. So there should be no funding for fighting. The drug war is ridiculous. We've been fighting it since the 80s, and it's only gotten worse. And this happens anytime during a prohibition period. So the harsher drugs, I wouldn't legalize right away, but I would like to decriminalize them. And put in place a fine. And if we're going to take that federal money, put that towards rehabilitation, worker retraining, and counseling, and get those people back into society as productive members of society.
All right. Now, something totally different. What do you think about public schools and their funding?
I want to, if we're going to keep the public funding, And as someone likes their own choices, I personally don't think I should have to pay for a child from another family's education, but that isn't going to go away anytime soon. What I would like to see is that money go into vouchers or educational investment trusts and given directly to the parents so that the parents can choose the school. That's the per child funding. I'd like to take the administrative funding, cut all of the administration out, and give that directly to the principals and allow the principals to choose their curriculum for their schools, as I believe the curriculum for schools should be purely academic. Yes, there are going to be some shop classes, there are going to be some art classes, and whatever that principal decides for their school. But I think that should be left to the local level as well. I don't think that should be administered from the state level or from the federal level.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just general?
What do you think about the principals soliciting from local businesses to help fund their schools and have a focus on the technology from that industry?
Well, if the individual business wants to fund schooling and put those children on a path to a career that they would like to go into, I'm all for that. That's the choice of the business to fund that type of education.
In several states, that's worked out really well.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say that I had guns,
Mhm.
and I am also a cannabis user and grower, but we're not supposed to have them in the same place. We're not supposed to have guns
Yeah,
with
okay.
cannabis.
Then this goes back to alcohol and guns. You can have alcohol in your home and guns in your home. So there's no reason you should not be able to have guns because you have cannabis in your home.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's not. Well, let me smoke as much cannabis as possible before I go use my guns. No, that's not what people are going to do anyway.
Right. Because on the registration form, though, you have to check if you use marijuana or not.
Oh yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, you do. So, but the way I
'Cause
see
it's a
it, it's
federal
not an
background
illegal.
check.
Is it? Is it still an illegal drug, or is it not? If you legalize this in your state, right?
Right. Yeah, you should be able to have. I don't see why marijuana should restrict you from having firearms.
But it's
You
still
have
on
the
that
right to
list.
keep and bear arms. You have the right to defend yourself and your property, regardless of whether you smoke a joint or not.
Right. But it is on that form.
Yep. My parents are looking at you losing their senior water rights right now because the Department of Ecology has decided that even though the water level never goes up or down, it deviates, that they can take their water anyway. Or change how it flows and flood their property so that the Spokane, tributary has enough water for Spokane County. So my parents have to lose their property because they can't find the water source, enough water for Spokane
Right.
County. That's ridiculous. Or metering wells on your property.
Yes.
They should not be able to meter wells on people's private property either.
They're trying to have worse.
You drilled the wells. You're the ones that put the pumps in. You're the ones that put all the rock in. You're the one that bleaches it every once in a while. If your pump goes out, does the government come replace your pump?
Exactly.
No, you have to replace your pump. You have to do the maintenance on the well.
The guy to come in and drill it and.
Did they pay for all the plumbing from the well into your home and into your fields and wherever you have it? No, you paid for all that.
Did they dig that ditch 200 feet from the roof of the house?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So we're going to come meter this now, even though you build out the entire infrastructure and you maintain the entire infrastructure. And this is people that on the coast that don't have wells anywhere. They're all running off public water systems, saying, "Well, we have to pay for our water, so you should have to pay for yours." Well, no, we built our own infrastructure. We shouldn't have to pay if we build our own infrastructure. You didn't build that infrastructure. You're paying for a service. We are the ones that built our own service. There's no reason the government should come take money from us.
Thank you, Michael Foster, and he is the candidate for Washington's 7th Legislative District. Thank you very much for coming out.
Well, thank you all for your time.
Great,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
I would truly like to represent we the people. I also truly want my rights back. I am not a father, but I'm godfather to 2 of my nephews and my niece. And I would like them to enjoy at least the same freedom as I did growing up in the 70s and 80s. Right now that is not possible. Please look at the person that will truly represent us, maintain, defend, and restore our rights, and not the letter by their name. I am grateful for your time. Wish you all the best. God bless Washington State and the 7th Legislative District.